something
Lucky
really.
me that I got to meet you during that time frame when you were living in Racine.
It was amazing.
And
I remember meeting you. It was um Kim's Pedal Tavern outing.
yes.
And we ended up I ended up going. I didn't want to go. I'm like, oh my God, really? There's drinking and you have to exercise, but it was a fun time. And it was a really fun, weird dynamic because I think your ex was with you,
Yes.
with his
I was
girlfriend.
That's right. That's right. It was it was a very eclectic, I would say, group of people. It was a weird mix, which just like it was so right. It was so wrong, but then it was so right, which made just for like a really good night and a lot of fun.
If anyone wanted to see the picture of organized chaos, that would be the group because it
That
was
was it.
crazy. It was like, well, how do you know them? And how do you know them? And I'm like, oh, boom, it worked.
It
So,
just
yeah,
worked.
good group of
Yeah,
people.
and
We ended up at Victor's. Did you end up going with us to
yeah, I was at
Victor's?
Victor's. What?
That was
Yeah. Or
a
wait,
lot.
was I? Well, maybe not. I'm thinking I did another thing called Granny's Gone Wild, and we went to Victor's for that. But maybe I can't remember if we did for the Pedal Tavern. Yes, I do remember being on the dance floor for that.
Let's go with every good story ends up at Victor's at the end of the night.
Which I'm told that people call it victims. Have
Yeah,
you heard that
yeah,
story?
absolutely.
Not at all. And I mean, I thought it was such a great time. But yeah, that's when I met you. And I felt like you had such a big personality. And even though that dynamic and that energy was really great, like you really brought something to the whole mix, and which was different and cool. And it was a good vibe. And you were fun, outgoing,
Oh
and
God.
funny. Like I was laughing the entire time.
It was a good time. I don't remember. Didn't we get like beads at all the bars that we went to or something
Yeah,
like
we
that?
got beads. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I mean, whatever. Yeah, we totally got beads, but I don't think anyone was. Well, no, I'll take that back. I was gonna say, I don't think anyone was actually flashing anyone, but I'm pretty sure there was some flashing going on because I
I'm
remember
sure there was.
walking into the bathroom and a bunch of the girls were like showing off their boob jobs to each other
Oh
in the
God.
bathroom. And I walked in on it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow. That carried
Okay.
through because we kept in touch and then I started doing that. It was really funny because I moved from Madison. I owned a ballroom dance studio when I lived in Madison and I closed it down and I moved to be closer to my family. My sister was having another baby and I feel like I missed out on the other two. So I thought, time to go home. And then I was like, okay, if I move to Racine, I can do theater at the Racine Theater Guild. I can do all these different things. I can connect with other people. And then, boom, pandemic. So,
Yeah.
like, I had to put that all on hold for like another year and a half. And then when I first auditioned for, I think it was Clue was the first show that I was in there.
Oh
And
yes, I
it was
remember.
really funny because a lot of people actually found me after the show, and said, "Oh, great job, but how did you get in?" And I'm like, "Excuse me?" And
What?
they made it out to be like this really clicky, weird thing about like, "Oh, how did you get in?" Because of the pandemic, they're only trusting actors that they've worked with before. But when you bring a certain energy to the
Yeah.
party, that's your ticket in. Like
Yeah,
we
I
talked
was gonna
about,
say
like
your answer should have been pure talent. That's
I'm
how I
like,
got in.
I didn't want to seem conceited or anything like that, but I think it was like, you know, getting involved in a community theater, which is probably one of the topics we want to discuss in this podcast, because we're going to tap
What
into it.
we're
I
gonna tap into.
We're going to count how many times we say tapped into it. So we're going to be tapped in.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. So we're going to be tapped in on that and say that um, you have to make sure that you are being a good team player. Volunteering was one of the greatest things that the Theater Guild had to offer in Racine. Plenty of opportunities. If you weren't in a show, you could be part of the show. You could be running things backstage. You could be having
Oh, okay.
costumes. You could be selling tickets, promoting, and they always have a spot for everyone, which I loved. That was really
Mhm.
great. And now I'm kind of looking for the same thing out here, but it's a little more competitive. A little bit. So, Um,
Wow. So you've been auditioning there. And well, obviously you said you got a part
uh,
when you were talking to
Actually,
me
what
before.
I did get through one of the shows that I was the first musical I was in was Mamma Mia, and there was this couple, Matt and Matthew, and they were just got engaged. And after I did Sweeney Todd with Matthew, he sent me a text saying, "Hey, I have this friend. He has a podcast. It's voice acting. It's a murder mystery. Do you want to play
Oh,
this part?" I had no idea what I was getting into. There was like nothing. I'm like, no synopsis. And I'm like, wait, how long has this been running? It's on its third season, and my character just showed up. So I'm playing a very, very, very awful man named Teddy, who has this love affair, who comes back, is torturing his ex lover. There's gunshots. It's a murder mystery. So people tune into it. It's fantastic. I can
what's
share
the
the
name of it?
link. um,
Yeah.
why can't I remember the link? I'm only one episode in, to be honest with you, and they're like, just record these lines. All I know is that I'm reading ahead a little bit. I have to record later today, and more details. I'll send them to you. You can post them in the link. People can find
Yeah.
out, listen for themselves and be the judge. Don't judge too harshly.
No way. So, okay, so it's a podcast, but it's actually just like a story that's being
Yeah,
told by
like
these
a
characters?
murder mystery weekly cast that goes on, and it's really
That's
funny.
cool.
Like the talent, you would think like, okay, do people get together in one room? No, we all record, you know, it's kind of hard because when you do voice acting like that, you
Uh-huh.
don't feed off the other person. So
Okay.
what I have to do is I have to record my lines. I give like 7 different ways of how to say something. Um so, like, if my line was, I just got here. So I could say, I just got here, or I just got here, or I just
The
got
cat just
here.
got here.
That's Chloe. I'm in her chair. This is her room. So,
So
and
you're not recording with them. So you have to say your line 7 different ways so that they can use it as they see fit.
exactly. And the director pieces it all together and
Oh
then
my
puts together the whole recording. I don't know. It works. It's worked.
Is
So,
this a podcast in the local area or so just completely somewhere else?
from what I know, everyone is pretty local. So I haven't met any other cast members except for my friend Matthew, who wrote me into this. So it's kind of cool. I'm really excited to see how it all turns out.
How do you get out of something like that? Do they have to kill you off
I have no
before
idea
you
where this
go?
character is going. So he
It could
just
be
got into
years. You have
town.
no
So
idea.
who knows? It's really fun though. It keeps you on your toes and it keeps the voice going and it's something that I mean, I don't even have to like fix my hair or do anything for it. You roll out
Yeah,
of bed, see if the voice is working, record some lines, and then be done for the day.
I love it. Did you have to get like a studio or you just have a microphone? It doesn't really matter. It's probably not
Exactly
too
how you
technical,
and
huh?
I are talking right now through voice memos and
Not
things like
technical at
that.
all. All
So
right.
yeah, it's kind of cool. It's really funny how like media has changed. Like podcasts used to be like, hey, come to my studio. We'll have coffee and we'll sit down and we'll chat. Now we're
Ain't
just
nobody got
doing it.
time for that.
No one has time for that. We can do it from anywhere. We can do it for
In fact,
anywhere.
I have somewhere to be in 5 minutes. We got to get on with this. No, I'm just
Right,
kidding.
exactly.
But
Well,
okay, well
it's
that
really
is
funny too. Um, let's go back to the theater, if you don't mind.
okay.
Because there are
Yeah, let's
things that I thought about, like things that I want to share that, when people are talking about auditioning or getting involved or thinking about getting involved, I think theater is a great place to make friends. People are scared to audition, which you don't have to.
yeah.
I think it's so funny how our inner saboteur will just talk us out of anything. Uh,
Yes,
my
it's true.
grandmother has this great adage that she told me, and I kind of swear by it right now. People in
Okay.
this world will do anything to do nothing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then take the risk. What is that thing that people like to say? Buy the purse, take the trip, eat the cake.
Oh. Oh, I think I've heard something like that. I like that. I feel like I want to get these, like, I don't know, poster or something to put on my
We'll
wall to
stitch it on a
remind me of these.
pillow. It will be great.
Yes. These
Um,
are important things to remember.
Little nuggets, golden nuggets. So I always say that, the director has about this much time to find this much of a production to cast it. There are specific things that they're looking for, and if you don't fit that, then it's not right. Don't feel like you didn't done anything wrong. You just don't
Yeah.
fit that personality. If it's, you know, 10 people and 100 people show up, it's just a numbers game, you know? But there's
Yeah,
always
like so yeah, absolutely. So when you like well, you could use any example, but like for Clue, did you get the character that you auditioned for,
no.
or did you get? So, okay, that's what I had thought you had told me.
I was in the running for Wadsworth and Colonel
Oh
Mustard
yeah.
and Professor Plum, but then I ended up getting the motorist,
Oh, that's right, the motorist. Okay.
and then ended up being the motorist, and then it's a dual role. You play like a cop in the end because obviously you get killed, and spoiler alert. And I just kind of thought, you know what? If you show up and you do the job, the next one I was a little bit more favored, and the next one I was cast as a bigger role in Sweeney Todd. So I think, if you stick with it, and even if you start at the lowest level, like let's say you go somewhere and they're like, okay, well, I don't have that position for you, but I have like a sweeping job that you can do. Great. Then you be the best sweeper that you know you could be, and then you can move forward to that big spot that you really want. But
Yes,
there
yes.
is a little air of instant gratification. I think it comes from a lot of TikTok. Like, I'm going to be a TikTok star today,
Oh, yeah, you want the
right?
biggest, best thing right away, and it's just not always
Hmm.
like that.
And it's just
It's
really like, if you want like, anything to happen in your life, you just have to be willing to go in and do something different that you haven't done
yes.
before. And I
Mhm.
think when people that think about the rejection, or I don't want to be told no, or I'm not good enough to do that, you have no idea, no clue what to
You're
expect.
you're missing out. You're missing out on so much in life.